My name is Hannah, and this is my year of less stuff. Hey y'all, good news. Sadie is making biscuits on the blanket, and maybe it means she'll settle in for the whole video. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to talk about the Sadie, you're confusing me. Today I'm going to share with you my top 5 makeup products from 2020 so far. So what I'm taking this to mean is that these are the 5 makeup products that were new to me in 2020, like ones I've tried since January 1st, or I've acquired them newly since January 1st. That are the 5 that I like the most of all of the makeup that I've tried this year. This is my year of less stuff, so I am trying not to acquire too much new stuff this year, and that includes makeup. The real goal of the year is to end the year with at least a little bit less stuff than I started with, rather than more stuff than I started with. So that means that for me to have acquired something new and to love it so much that I am really happy to be keeping it, and to declare that I would buy it again if I used it up or if I lost it, that's a pretty big deal. It's not just that these are the top 5, it's that for anything to make it through my defenses this year and be something that I want to keep and use, it has to be really, really good. It doesn't have to just be exciting and good. It also has to kind of outperform in some ways all of the stuff that I already had when I started the year. So I picked my top 5 and I also ranked them. I'm actually going to share them with you in descending order from the one that I like the least, although that's not really how you would put it because I love all 5 of them. But I'm going to count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and number 1 is like my number 1 product of the year so far. So we're really going with it, and I also have one honorable mention. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. If we're going in descending order, then I guess we should start with the honorable mention, and it's this Gucci mascara. So this mascara blew me away. I bought this for the purposes of review, so I bought it with my channel budget, but it wasn't PR. I bought it myself. I mean, LOL, that'll be the day, right, when I'm getting PR from Gucci. I don't buy luxury mascaras for myself, so I am not going to be buying this for myself going forward, even though I've already used it up. I took this out of my empties. It's really, I scraped the bottom of the barrel. But when I was using this, I loved it so much. And it's for all of the reasons that make it what it is. So the formula and the brush and the way that it applies. Sorry, I got interrupted. Anyway, this one, what was I saying? Oh yeah, in terms of what it does to the lashes, like how it makes the lashes look, it's everything I could ever dream of. So the brush, it's weird. It's like this spiky rubber brush, but something about it, I think it's pointy. It's like an almond shaped tip. And it means that I can grab every single lash. So I have really pale lashes, and as they get closer and closer to the inside of my eyes, they get really tiny and I don't even know they're there. And a lot of times I apply regular mascara and I miss a bunch of my lashes that are like closer in because I just can't see them. I'm up in the mirror doing this. I'm all up in my own face and they're just invisible to me. And this, when I went in with it, it would always like grab those little lashes and it felt like they were just appearing out of nowhere, like magic, as the mascara coated them, those little lashes that I usually miss. For that same reason, it's great for the lower lashes. It's just, the brush is cool and it really worked for me. Usually rubber bristle brushes make the lashes kind of more thin and combed through. But the formula of this is so intensely buildable, it's so intensely designed to give you those splinky, spidery lashes that the rubber bristle brush didn't detract from its buildability. So in that way, it was kind of like this magical hybrid unicorn of all of the different things that I appreciate in a mascara. But I think that the reason that I'm actually putting it on this list is that it has all of those qualities, and it's also so luxurious and lovely and special. So it just feels really special. It feels like the kind of thing that I would buy as a gift. If I wanted to give a mascara as a gift to like a family member or a friend, I would pick this one because I know that the formula is really great and really versatile, and it just feels special. It has the added benefit of being luxurious and having this really beautiful vintage component, feeling weighted. It's just special all around. I'm very fond of it. Again, I'm not going to buy it myself because I don't think that it's worth it for me to repurchase a product that needs to be repurchased every 3 to 6 months like mascara does, to repurchase it at this price point. But if mascara were designed to last 2 years or a year, if it was supposed to last and last and last, like other kinds of products, things like blush and concealer and foundation, if it wasn't such a short-term type of product, then I would buy this one. The price would be worth it to me, and it would be the one that I would choose. All right, let's get into counting down my top 5 of the ones that I actually would repurchase. So this one had everything going for it except for the price tag, and that's why I didn't actually make it onto the list. All of the rest of these, even though some of them are expensive, the price isn't prohibitive to me when I stack it up against what the product offers me. But number 5 is one that is really inexpensive. The price wouldn't be prohibitive to me in any case. It's the Covergirl Clean Fresh Cream Blush in Flushed. I continue to be amazed by how in love I have fallen with this product. Everything about it is incongruous, right? So it is CoverGirl, it's a drugstore product, and I don't tend to fall for drugstore products. I tend to fall for like this, like stuff that's just like, oh, I don't tend to really go head over heels for drugstore things. In a way, it's like the cards are stacked against drugstore products when it comes to me, because I'm unabashedly sensitive to the aesthetics of packaging and the way that something is promoted, and sometimes even the price tag that's attached to a thing goes along with that. So it's hard for a product like this to worm its way into my life. The other thing about this that makes it an incongruous pick for me is the color. It's a bright coral. It's like a cross between pink and red. I mean, it is really, really bright. And you know me, I'm all about the nude blushes, and I don't like stuff that's pink. And this is a coral that it leans into red, but doesn't really lean into orange. You know, coral sometimes can be like an orange-red color, but this is really like a pink-red. It really is like coral in the flattest interpretation of the word that we use for that color. It also has these metallic pigments in it, so when you squeeze it out, it looks like it looks pearly or gleaming. It looks like a metallic Crayola crayon, you know what I mean? Like the gold and silver Crayola crayons when you look at them up close. And that aspect of this product has made it off-putting to a lot of people who I know have tried it and who I've seen review it. But all of those things have made me fall for it, despite what I would have thought. So that metallic look blends out to a really glossy, beautiful finish that I feel like means that I don't need to add any highlighter. I don't need to put any highlighter on top. I love the way it ends up looking on the cheeks. The color blends out to something that makes me look more naturally flushed than it does make me look made up. The reason I don't tend to like pink blushes is because I feel like they make me look dolled up. Like I've just gone in with like a blush. You know, it makes me look like I've really gone for it. But there's something about the tone of this, that feverish coral, that it makes it look like I naturally have this very, very intense color that blotches onto my cheeks when I get worked up or when I get warm. And that isn't quite true of me. This isn't quite the color that my cheeks do turn when I have a natural flush, but it looks like it is that. It makes it look like that. It works enough with my natural coloring that it just ends up looking really natural, but also kind of striking and dramatic and editorial. And my heart has started going pitter patter for that. I've really developed a strong interest in this kind of super bright cheek that doesn't have that makeup-y look, but rather this other kind of like drastic bright spot on the cheek kind of impression. The other thing, lastly, the last thing that makes it so wild that this made it into my top 5 is that I have acquired a lot of cream blushes this year, and none of the other ones are in the pile. None of the other ones made it onto the list. Out of all the ones that I've purchased this year, and I didn't even buy this, Lauren gave this to me. She got it in PR and she passed it on to me. So this little CoverGirl Clean Fresh Cream Blush, it's only $10, but that I didn't even buy myself. It was just given to me by a friend. It's a color that I don't usually go for, a finish that I wouldn't have thought would have worked out well for me. And, you know, in this packaging that doesn't make it feel as covetable as other things tend to feel. It has outstripped all of the other cream blushes that I very, very carefully chose for myself, that I worked up the courage to spend my budget on, and all of which I do love. I mean, I wouldn't keep them if I didn't love them, but none of them have given me the thrill of something new and different and really kind of fun looking, but also it fulfills a kind of like fantasy of a slightly editorial look, or a slightly more out there look, or something slightly experimental, but it also has the element of the natural. So that weird dovetailing of all of those different and incongruous elements is what has put it on this list at number 5. Number 4 is a product that I only acquired recently, but I've already been so impressed by it that I feel really confident in putting it on this list. It's the Danessa Myricks ColorFix Foil in the shade Milky Way. I've seen a lot of people talking about Danessa Myricks lately. I think a lot of people have done Black-owned brand makeup tutorials or makeup reviews. Some people have done full-on Danessa Myricks reviews. There has been a renewed interest in Black-owned brands on beauty YouTube, which is fantastic. I think that is awesome, and I'm glad that that's happening. But curiously, I purchased this product before all of that happened. Or no, that's not the case. I got interested in the product before all of that happened. I'm going to talk more about my decision to buy this in my upcoming video about how I spent my budget in July, but I will briefly tell you that the thing that got me interested in this was that I saw it in a Katie Jane Hughes photograph on Instagram. I was scrolling through Instagram one day and she had like a close-up on one of her eye looks, and I was just like, what is that? What is that intense sheer wet look sparkle? And I checked her description and it said that it was this, and when I started reading up on it and I saw that it sets. It doesn't stay creamy. It's a liquid, but it squeezes out and then it sets almost immediately because it's a tool for makeup artists. I saw how wet her lids looked in that picture. I read the description that said that it sets down completely, dries, and doesn't move. And I was like, that sounds like a perfect product for me. It's $18. I put it in my Beautylish cart because that was where I bought it. But I didn't buy it right away. This was like months ago, actually. It's a long time ago. I didn't buy it right away. I just put it in my Beautylish cart and I was like, you know, the next time I have to place an order from Beautylish to replace my shampoo or my body wash, there are a couple of staple items I have that I often buy from Beautylish. And I was like, the next time I place that, I'll check out with this in the cart as well, and I'll just have spent part of my budget on it. But it was, I think it was a full month and a half or 2 months later, towards the beginning of this month, when I finally did have to replace my shampoo. So I placed that order from Beautylish and it included this product. And by that time, I had seen Danessa Myricks start to kind of take off on beauty YouTube in response to the Black Lives Matter movement. And I'm very happy to have seen that. And I'm also happy that the stars aligned so that I could kind of join the party and acquire my first piece of Danessa Myricks makeup as well. It is everything that I hoped it would be, and more, I think, even, because it's so versatile on the eyes. I can put it anywhere. It dries so fast and it truly does not budge. So there have been some times when my eyes have been watering a little bit lately and I've been about to film and I'm worried that my eyes are going to water and disturb my makeup while I'm filming, and I've just patted a little bit of this over the places where I'm worried that the tears will squiggle over there and affect what I have in my eyes, and it makes that part of my eyes bulletproof because it just dries down to this like sturdy film of sparkle, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. I recently featured this in my video, the search for the shiniest shine, the search for the shiniest eyeshadow, because it feels to me like the shiniest thing I've ever had, like the shiniest thing I've put on my eyes. I won't spoil that video in case you haven't seen it. I will link it down below, but I did end up finding something else in my collection that's as shiny, if not shinier than this, but this definitely held its own through that entire video, through that it was like a tournament, like a shininess tournament for all of my eyeshadows, and it ended up finishing very close to first place. So it's a fantastic product. I feel like I'm going to be using it in a utilitarian way. It's going to be filling in all these gaps in the makeup that I do until I use it up. It's an instant classic for me. I can tell that now, and I'm really glad that I decided to buy it. Third on the list, an oldie but a goodie at this point for you guys on my channel who've been watching. It's not really an oldie. It's something that I purchased with a gift certificate that my parents got me for my birthday at the end of February. So I've really only owned it for something like 4 months. It's the Tom Ford Cream and Powder in Naked Bronze. This is a product I've had my eye on for years. I've always wanted to try it. I've always wanted to buy it and own it. And it was the perfect thing to spend a birthday gift certificate on because I like to spend a gift certificate like that frivolously. I have used this product nonstop since I got it. I mean, obviously not like I use it every single day, but I have used it so many days so voraciously that I can confidently say the sentence, I have used this product nonstop since I got it. And I feel like it's true. What I mean is that I haven't taken any breaks. I haven't had a moment where I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot about that and I haven't picked it up in a week or two. That has never happened to me in the entire time since I bought this at the end of February. And I've already hit pan on the shadow on the top. I thought that I was going to like the bottom better. I thought that the cream was going to be like the real deal to me and that I would sometimes use the one that was on the top. But I've ended up possibly even using the one that's on the top more because I use it to cover up patchiness, to sheer things out, to make my lids look wet. I often finish a look by patting this either all over the lid or just on the brow bone. I reach into it all the time, all the time. The one on the bottom, I also use all the time. It's just that it's a cream, so a little goes a much longer way, and there's much more of it. I'll briefly say what makes it awesome, even though I've talked about it so much on my channel already, and I have reviewed it, and I've demonstrated it, and all of that stuff. I'll try to remember to link the videos that feature all of these products down below, because all of them have been featured on my channel a number of times in demonstrations and get ready with me's and hauls and stuff like that. The cream is so moussey, it can be blended and worked with a lot before it dries down. It's got a really smooth blend, and the moussiness means that it doesn't have a tendency towards patchiness. And so for a product like this, I want it to give me some time to play with it. For a product like this, the Danessa Myricks, I want it to dry down as fast as possible because I know that I'm just gonna be tapping it on and then I want it to like set and be bulletproof. With this, I'm building shape, I'm shading, I'm blending, I'm smearing it out, I'm smoking it out, I'm smudging it out on the lower lash line, and I want it to be malleable for a while so that I can work it and work it and work it, and then for it to set down. And after it sets down, I want it to not move. And that's exactly what this does. The timing of the drying cycle of this product is perfect for me personally. I tend to struggle with my hooded eyes with cream products. If they set down and then I keep blending on top of them, they'll patch up. But I have never, I think I can say I have never struggled with this. From the first moment that I acquired this and opened it and started using it, it's like the easiest eye ever. And then the really beautiful sheer sparkly wet look shadow that's on top complements it perfectly. You can enhance the look with it. If it ever causes me any trouble blending it up towards the brow, I can go in with this sheer sparkly shadow and just complete it by covering it up, and it all looks perfectly smooth and blended and you know, gleaming and wet and sophisticated. I love it so much. So this was number 3 of my top 5, but it almost made it to number 2. It was a really close call. In fact, I might even go so far as to say that product number 2 and product number 3, which is this one, are pretty much tied. But I decided to let this next product that I'm going to talk about edge this one out for number 2, and I will do my best to explain why. It's the Glossier Vinylic Lip. I am so impressed by this product, and I think that maybe the reason that it edged out the Tom Ford Cream and Powder for the number 2 spot is that, sorry, there's like a hair clinging to my things. Well, Sadie, your face is out of frame. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I was about to say that I think that the reason that the Vinylic Lip edged out the Tom Ford Cream and Powder for spot number 2 has to do with expectations. This is such an expensive product and its praises have been sung up, down, and all around town on beauty YouTube, and so I expected it to be great. I was like, it better be. But these, the Vinylic Lip, I had no interest in really when they launched because I was under the impression that it was going to be like this thick, goopy, glossy vinyl product, like a vinyl paint on the lips that's really, really shiny. And in the past, I have found that kind of product a little bit difficult to control, a little bit difficult to get a clean lip line. I have a pretty uneven lip line, and I'm starting to get some, you know, some of those little lip wrinkles that go vertically, and it's sort of changing the shape of the line of my upper lip. So it's hard for me to work with products that require precision in order to not look messy or to not make a mess. And that was what I was under the impression that this was. So I didn't buy them with my own money. I bought them with store credit that I had through Glossier. So different from this, where it's like I had this special gift certificate and I decided to spend it on this one special thing. With these, I was kind of just like, yeah, you know, if I'm making this order with store credit and it's for review for my channel, might as well do my due diligence and just like throw these products into the cart because it's something that is new from Glossier, relatively new, and that I've never tried, and I can report back on all of this stuff. But I didn't expect to love them. I expected to try one and not like it that much and then maybe give the other one away. And they have, I can't even, I love wearing them. I have worn one of them almost every day since I got them, which at this point was like well over, maybe even closing in on 2 months. It's been a while, maybe even longer than that. Time means nothing to me anymore during the pandemic. It's like really hard to keep track of what has happened when. I have had on many occasions to make myself wear other things because I feel like I should be exploring more of a breadth of products. And especially because I'm on beauty YouTube and I'm making videos, I do feel like it maybe isn't in my best interest to literally wear the same product every day, like literally every day in a row for days and days and weeks and months and months. If I were a normal woman, if I were a normal girl, that's what I would have done with these. I wouldn't have touched any of my other lipsticks or glosses or anything for months since I got them, because that's how much I love them. And I don't feel like that's a good choice for me right now because I'm making these videos. I feel like I need to do other things and present some variety. So there have been many days on which I have started to reach for one of these. I've been about to put on my lip product and I've been like, ooh, I get to wear the Glossier Vinylic Lip again, even though I wore it the day before. And I start reaching for it and then I'm like, Hannah, just wear something else. Like, your subscribers are tired of seeing Glossier Vinylic Lip and Pony in the description box, and people are tired of seeing you in the same exact color, and it's boring. You need to like gather more information about different products and experiment more and just, be a little bit more dynamic. And sometimes I listen to myself and I reach for something else, and sometimes I'm like, no, Hannah, no, I'm gonna wear them. I want to wear them. Leave me alone. I'm wearing them again. That's usually what happens. Why do I love them so much? It's because they're balanced. The moisture level is balanced. It feels good putting them on your lips. There's no concession in terms of wearing them. I always feel good about applying them. They are not totally matte, but they're also not super glossy. And it's also not even like a satin finish. It's like a glossy finish, but the formula is sheer enough that the glossiness is softened when it's blended out. So the lip line is always soft. It goes perfectly with my needs for my lip shape and for the way that I like to apply lip products. The colors are balanced enough and sheer enough that they look natural, even though the color has a presence on the lips. So when I say they look natural, I don't mean that it looks like you're not wearing a lip product. It just doesn't look labored. They don't look labor intensive. It's very much that sort of like effortless color on the lips. Even with the red really, it's so easy to wear. It's maybe the easiest red to wear that I've ever had. The color is disco, and it is easy to wear because of the formula, but also because it's got this kind of soft terracotta tone to it. So it's not too contrasty, it's not too dark, it's not too bright. It's a natural, semi-sheer, nourishing, semi-satiny red. In spite of myself, I really like the apricot smell and taste. I don't usually like fruit flavors, but it smells really fresh and natural, and it feels really lovely. And in spite of myself, I like the sponge tip applicator because it's really easy. You're not unscrewing something and pulling something out. You're just taking the cap off, clicking it. It's just elegant. It all works together to make an experiential experience. It all works together to make an experience and a visual effect that checks all of my boxes and goes beyond. And I had no idea. I did not anticipate this. And I think that adds to the excitement. The fact that it's kind of an upset adds to the excitement. And that's why they edged out the Tom Ford product. But in reality, I kind of like equally love them all. I really wish that Glossier would expand the shade range on these vinylic lips. I really wish they would, because none of the other ones are really my jam. And I keep going through this thing where I like want to get more, but then I look at the colors and I'm like, but I wouldn't love them more than these, so I should just stick to the two that I love the most. Are you ready for number one? Can you guess what it is? If you can, pause the video and put it down below. I want to know what your guesses are. I feel kind of like I'm a broken record about this product, but I can never be sure whether I'm actually communicating to you how much I love the things that I've been using a lot. I've said several times that I use this almost every day. I've said several times that I think I'm probably about to pan it, even though I just got it 4 or 5 months ago. But I'm going to reiterate that by singing its praises once again in this video. The number one spot goes to the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Spotlight Wand. The Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand in the shade Spotlight, which is like a peachy champagne. On me, it's the most neutral one, but the peachiness does add color to the blushes that I mix this with, and that's one of the things that's great about it. But let me start at the beginning with the product. The number one thing that's great about it is the shine, the glossy effect. It's what I'm wearing today on my cheeks, mixed a little bit with a blush. I think it's Kjaer Weis Joyful. And it just looks so glossy, right? It has that wet look shine. It has that glass skin shine. That's fantastic. I have encountered a number of products over the past couple of years that give a really glossy shine, but none of the liquid ones have set down completely in the way that this one does. This is the first product I've come across, highlighting product, that gives that really luminous shine, really wet, greasy, glassy shine, and sets down completely, but continues to shine in the way that it did when it was wet, even after it has set down. That's the thing that makes it the unicorn for me. On top of that, it works so well with other products. It plays well with others. It's easy to blend it with other cheeks, other cream cheek products. You can also, work with it with powders over top. It's not that difficult to work with it on top of powders, although that's not what I usually do. It can be done. It's very versatile. It's very well formulated. And I even really like the fact that it's a hands-free applicator, even though it's very messy, and the messy applicator tends to be the thing that causes people to discount this product, I think, in the YouTube sphere. Similar to the Glossier lip product, it turns out that I really like sponge tip applicators on certain kinds of products just because of the ease of use, because it's just so practical. It's so quick. For my purposes, for the way that I like my cheek to look, for the process that I like to go through when I do my makeup, and for the other kinds of products that I need a highlight to blend with or to work with, nothing beats this. It is completely in a league of its own. I have been eschewing all of my other highlighting cheek products, both cream and powder, for the entire year pretty much, since I got this towards the beginning of the year. It really is getting to be an intense relationship between the two of us, especially because we're now more than halfway through the year. I keep expecting it to let up. I keep expecting my tastes to change, as tastes do, but really nothing has changed. We've only become more attached to one another. Or really, I can only speak for myself. I've only become more attached to the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Spotlight Wand. I don't know how it feels about me. This video is getting kind of weird. Anyway, that's it. I've tried a lot of products so far this year. I have gotten a number of things in PR that I've passed along to friends and family, or donated to women's shelters or to Project Beauty Share. And there have been a lot of things that I have liked perfectly well, but not retained. There have also been a number of things that I have liked enough to retain, but that I wouldn't buy myself. And there's really just this small elite group of things that I've ended up liking so much that I would buy them myself if they hadn't come my way in PR, or, many things that I have that I did buy myself, but that I would buy again if I lost them, or that I will buy again if I use them up, like this one. I think that this is something that I would buy again if I used it up. I'm kind of curious to try another color, maybe one of the new colors, or one of the Peach Gasm looks great. Pillow Talk Medium looks great. So this is going to be like a keeper for me for a really long time, even if I expand to other colors, or I try a different color when this one runs out. Let me know what yours are. I want to know. You can put your top 5 if you want to, but even if it's just one, I'm really kind of curious actually about your number one makeup discovery. If that is, you have been buying makeup this year, if you have acquired new makeup this year. I know that a lot of you out there haven't, because you're on no buys, which is also fantastic. Maybe if you're on a no buy, let us know which product from your pre-existing collection has kind of reemerged as a favorite this year, something you've rekindled a relationship with. And if you have purchased any new makeup this year, I would love to know what you think your top pick is, which is the product that has hit it out of the park for you. Thank you again for being here. I hope it was fun to watch. And don't forget to take extra good care of yourself this week so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.